Michael Jordan, the legend forged in fire. What if I told you that the greatest athlete in history was rejected? That before he became a legend, he was cut from his high school team. That before lifting trophies, he cried alone, hidden in his room. You know the name, Michael Jordan. You've seen the gravity-defying moves. Maybe you even wear the sneakers with the eternal Jumpman logo. But do you really know the story behind the myth? This isn't just a video about basketball. It's about falls that hurt, about rage that transforms, about a fire that never goes out. It's about a man who played as if every game was a war, so he would never be forgotten again. This is the story of a spark that was born in silence and set the world on fire. This is Michael Jordan, the one with the champion's DNA, the kid who got cut. Just picture this for a moment. You are 15 in high school and the basketball team roster just got posted. Your eyes scan every name, looking for yours. Once, twice, 3 times, but it's not there. You got cut, rejected, deemed not good enough. For most teenagers, that would be the end of the dream. But for Michael Jeffrey Jordan, born February 17, 1963, in Brooklyn, New York, that moment of humiliation at Laney High School would become the fuel for one of the greatest comeback stories ever told in sports. That afternoon in 1978, a skinny kid went home, locked himself in his room and alone. He cried. These weren't just sad tears. They were tears of rage, of determination, of a silent promise that would echo for the next 20 years. They'll never ignore me again. Michael grew up in a competitive family. His siblings, Larry and James, always got the better of him in family games, feeding his visceral aversion to losing. From a young age, losing wasn't just a result. It was a personal affront that made him come back stronger, more determined, more obsessed with winning. But that cut from the team was different. It was the moment rejection turned into obsession. Michael started training with an intensity that bordered on madness. There was an untamed fury inside him. He'd wake up at 5 a.m., run to the empty gym court, and shoot 1,000 balls a day until his fingers bled. No audience, no applause, just the sound of the ball bouncing on the wood, his face wet with sweat, and the panting breath of a kid determined to prove his worth. Michael didn't just want to make the team. He wanted to be impossible to leave out. The rise of a legend. The effort started paying off. Michael grew, not just in height, but in confidence and skill. His game became fluid, explosive, dominant. Scouts from big universities started noticing something special was there. In 1981, he arrived at the University of North Carolina as a shy freshman, but with a fire in his eyes that said, "Give me the ball and I'll handle it." And that's exactly what happened in the 1982 National Final. Last seconds, tight score, and the ball went into the hands of a 19-year-old kid. He took a deep breath, raised the ball, and sank the shot that won the championship. In that moment, before millions of viewers, Michael Jordan as we know him was born. The kid became a name. The name became a brand. The brand became a legend. 2 years later, in the 1984 NBA draft, 3 franchises had the chance to pick Jordan. The Houston Rockets and Portland Trail Blazers passed him up, a historic mistake that would change the destiny of the entire league. The Chicago Bulls, desperate for a savior, took a chance on him. The world of basketball was never the same. The emergence of Air Jordan. In his first professional season, Jordan already dominated like a veteran. He floated over opponents with unmatched grace. Every dunk seemed to stop time. That's where the nickname that would change everything was born. Air Jordan. But it wasn't just a spectacle. It was a predatory instinct disguised by a smile. Jordan proved with every dunk, every basket, every point, every game, that no one would ever overlook him again. He didn't just want to win. He wanted to humble his defender, silence the rival crowd, destroy anyone who dared to doubt his ability. The late 80s brought individual glory, but also collective frustration. Jordan was the most spectacular player in the league, but there was a seemingly insurmountable obstacle: the Detroit Pistons. The bad boys from Detroit weren't just opponents, they were tormentors. Led by Isaiah Thomas and protected by Bill Laimbeer, they developed the Jordan rules. Every time Michael entered the paint, he'd get fouled hard: shoves, elbows, hits in the air. For 3 consecutive years, the Pistons eliminated the Bulls in the playoffs. Each elimination was like a punch to the gut, a wound that wouldn't heal. But Jordan was learning. The pain turned into focus, the anger into discipline. He transformed his body, strengthening himself to endure the brutality. More importantly, he strengthened his mind, becoming not just a star, but an unstoppable machine. The first rain. In 1991, everything changed. Jordan came back, but not alone. With Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, and coach Phil Jackson, the Bulls became a finely tuned orchestra. In the Eastern Conference Finals, the rematch with Detroit. This time, Michael was unbreakable. The Bulls swept the Pistons 4-0. And the villains left the court without shaking their hands, a sign that their era was over. In the NBA Finals, they faced Magic Johnson and the Los Angeles Lakers. It was the past against the future, the established reign against the imminent revolution. In 5 games, the Bulls defeated the Lakers. When Jordan embraced the trophy, tears streamed down his face, tears from a boy who was cut from the team and was now on top of the world. What came next was pure domination. In 1992, 6 3-pointers in one half against Portland. After the 6th, he looked at the bench, shrugged, and smiled. "I don't even know how I'm doing this." That image became legendary. The same year, he shined on the Dream Team in Barcelona, the greatest basketball team ever assembled in sports history, with legends like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. There, the whole world discovered who Michael Jordan was, presenting himself to the world as a global phenomenon. In 1993, the 3rd consecutive title against the Phoenix Suns, 3-peat champion, Jordan was on another level, unreachable and untouchable. The deepest pain. But then, at the peak of his glory, came the most devastating blow. In July 1993, his father, James Jordan, his greatest supporter and best friend, was murdered during a trip. The man who was always by his side, who smiled at every basket, who hugged him after every victory, was brutally taken from him. Michael collapsed. The invincible fell. For the first time, the world saw that the greatest player of all time was just a grieving son. Basketball lost its meaning. At the height of his fame and physical prime, Jordan shocked the world by announcing his retirement. He traded the courts for baseball fields, his father's favorite sport, as if somehow he could still connect with him. Many laughed and criticized, but there he wasn't running away, he was surviving. He blended in with unknown players, accepted failure, accepted being mediocre. It was a test of humility, a way to reconnect with the essence of the sport, away from the spotlight. I'm back. For a year and a half, the world lived without Michael Jordan on the courts. Basketball felt incomplete. In March 1995, without warning, just 2 words changed everything. I'm back. The initial return was challenging. Jordan wore number 45, a symbol of a new beginning. But his body was rusty. The Bulls made the playoffs, but were eliminated by the Orlando Magic. That loss was the final push he needed, the last drop of fuel to fully reignite his flame. Jordan decided he would never come back incomplete again. The following season, he returned with jersey number 23 and a thirst for revenge. With Dennis Rodman joining the team, the 1995-96 Bulls won 72 games. That's right, 7-2, a historical record that seemed unreachable. Jordan was older, but more lethal, more mature and relentless. In the finals against Seattle, He knelt in the locker room with the trophy in his hands on Father's Day. It was the first title without his father by his side. Pain and glory together, absence and presence at the same time. The Last Dance. The 1997-98 season started with a certainty. It would be the last year of that dynasty. Jerry Krause, the Bulls' general manager, had already decided to dismantle the team. Phil Jackson also knew it was the end. Jordan listened in silence, but inside something was growing. If this is the end, it will be an end the world will never forget. They called it The Last Dance. They reached the finals against the Utah Jazz. The series went to Game 6. Chicago led 3-2, but they were down by 3 points with less than 40 seconds remaining. Jordan made the shot that tied it. Then, he stole the ball from Karl Malone in a move of pure anticipation. And then came the silence. Jordan calmly advanced, looked at the clock, made an iconic dribble, and with the coldness of a killer, he beat the buzzer with a perfect shot. Basket, victory, title. His hand extended in the air, his body bent in the exact movement. The image became a statue in humanity's memory. Last shot, last game, last title, last dance. Thus, Jordan not only scored his last basket, but also cemented a legacy that would transcend the courts. The eternal legacy. 6 titles in 8 years. 6 finals won, 0 losses in the finals. Jordan didn't just end his career with the Bulls, he ended an era, but his legacy transcended the courts. Air Jordan became more than a sneaker brand. It became a symbol of aspiration, identity, and overcoming challenges. Jordan became the first ex-athlete billionaire, but he invested in people. He created foundations, funded scholarships, supported communities. He inspired generations of athletes. LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, they all looked up to him, but none could surpass his influence. Jordan remains the benchmark, the North Star everyone wants to reach. He taught that winning is incredible, but leaving a legacy is eternal. The fire that never goes out. Michael Jordan may no longer step onto the courts wearing number 23, but his impact and the fire he ignited transcend the game and still burn intensely. He lives in the sparkle in the eyes of every young person who steps onto the court with a dream, in the heart of every athlete who refuses the impossible, guided by an inner strength many call faith, in the mind of every person who decides to get up and try one more time. His words echo like mantras. I can accept failure, but I can't accept not trying. Some people want it to happen. Some wish it would happen. Others make it happen. Jordan lives when someone gets cut from the team but decides to train twice as hard. He lives when a person feels pain but refuses to stop. He lives when someone is doubted but believes in themselves with inexplicable strength. Number 23 has been retired, but the flame he lit cannot be extinguished. Michael Jordan wasn't just the greatest basketball player. He was the personification of the flame that never goes out. Because when you play with passion, work in silence and pursue excellence with total dedication, Jordan is there, maybe inside you. Your last shot. And now I ask you, what's your fire? What makes your heart beat faster even when no one believes in you? What's your team cut moment? What defeat still burns in your chest? What dream did you bury for fear of failing? Jordan got cut, hunted, knocked down, marked, and yet he chose to get up, keep going, believe. He wasn't born ready. He built himself in silence, in solitude, in the sacrifice no one sees. You don't need to be 6'6", tall or dunk over someone, but you need courage. Courage to try, to fall, to get up every single time. Greatness isn't in the spotlight. It's in consistency, in daily effort, in choosing not to give up even when everything tells you to stop. Michael Jordan showed us that winning isn't a gift. It's a habit. It's waking up earlier, training harder, thinking bigger, and living with purpose. If this story resonated with you, if some part of his journey reminded you of yours, then the message was delivered. Jordan never played just for himself. He played for everyone who was doubted, for everyone who heard not good enough, for everyone who wants to leave something behind for the world. Now it's your turn, your court, your game, your last shot. What are you going to do with it? Leave in the comments what part of Jordan's story moved you the most. When did you see yourself reflected in him? And if that flame is still burning inside you, share this video with someone who needs to remember the fire never dies. Subscribe to the Champions DNA channel. Here we don't just tell stories, we awaken legacies. Because at the end of the day, what you do with your story is what defines whether you'll just be another name or someone the world will never forget.